Let's start with Mark Zuckerman, MassonSports.com.
Hey Mike, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How's everybody?
All good. So obviously this is some new territory for you guys. First player you've signed from Japan since you took over as GM. I'm curious, was it something specific about him that attracted you, or is this a broader sense of trying to be more active in that market now?
Well, I think that market is a market built on relationships, and you can't go down there and just kind of pick and choose a guy you want to scout and try and sign him. That market, I dabbled in it when I was with Arizona a few times, and here we've tried at several Asian players. And it's just you're always on the outside looking in because you don't have the network there, the groundwork there that you need to have to create these relationships. And when we scout these players every year, we scouted Shino this year, the last couple of seasons in Japan, and we've liked players in the past. We just didn't have the relationship and the background to sell these players to come to DC. And with this particular player, we like the skill set. We like the age fits our timeline and that type of thing. And in this particular case, we did have a relationship with the agency, and that made it us more attractive for him to choose us rather than some other team this time.
And what stood out about him and is part of that evaluation? This isn't like a young Latin American player who you know is going to take some time, but the idea of trying to figure out if he's big league ready right now.
Yeah, well, he's like a lot of the players from the Japanese major leagues is that he's posted every year. I think the last 4 or 5 years he's thrown 150, 160 innings as a starter. He's got a good pitch mix and a good repertoire to be a starter, and he's shown that he has some durability and longevity that allows us to believe that he'll be a starting pitcher for us.
Andrew Golden.
Hey, Riz, you mentioned how tough it is to kind of build those relationships and find those ways in. I guess how moving forward can you guys work to kind of continue to develop those relationships to try to maybe do more of this moving forward?
Yeah, I mean it's a fertile market, so you can't eliminate any markets because talent is such a luxury that you need to be open to all ways of acquiring players, and we like I said, we've had a presence there. We just didn't have the ground game and the relationships, and as we've begun the process of becoming more active there. This with this particular player, we did have that advantage of some relationships with the agency.
And you always mention how you can never have enough starting pitching and you're having that rotation. I guess how happy are you with the depth that you guys kind of have heading into spring training, having seven or eight guys that could compete for a spot in the rotation?
Yeah, so I mean that's the goal. The goal is to be, this is the deepest starting pitching staff that we've had in a long time at the upper major leagues, upper minor leagues, in the major leagues, and we think that we go 9 or 10 deep now, which is something that we've been trying to get to for years. So you never have enough starting pitching. That is the driver of success in the big leagues, and I think that you're seeing now that not only with the depth but with the quality of the depth. I think you're seeing what we've been trying to put in place for a couple years now.
Spencer.
Yeah, Riz, you mentioned that you've begun the process of becoming more active in the Asian market. Outside of signing Shinnosuke, which I'm sure is obviously a big step, what are, I guess, some of the other parts of the process that's entailed?
Well, having more boots on the ground, seeing more players, being more active in scouting the league and scouting them when they're younger players before you have to have these relationships before they're even begin the process of posting and that type of thing, to have a relationship with them, to have a background, and a lot like we do here in the States and in Latin America. We know these players well before they're 16 and a half when we sign them, and we know the players like the back of our hand when we're making a trade for these players. So it's good to have history and track record on guys, and I think that was an important part of acquiring this player.
And when you mentioned the evaluation process, I know it's not the same as scouting a 16-year-old Latin prospect or a guy who's pitched in the big leagues before. What sort of different considerations do you have to make in terms of someone who's pitched in the NPP before?
I think there's several considerations that you have to. The ball is different. The feel of the ball is different. The size of the ball is different. They pitch, they pitch once a week in Japan. So all these things come into play as far as the nurturing process, the developmental process. Even big league ready guys have to make an adjustment when they come to the States. And we saw that when we had Chin Ming Wong, and I had Byung Young Kim when I was with Arizona. So that we have a feel for what it means for him to come over to the States from the Japanese big leagues. And the competition is great in the Japanese league, and when they get to the big leagues, it's the best players in the world.
Jess Camerata.
Hey, Mike, from what you've seen over the years, can you give us a rundown of the strengths and the rooms for improvement?
I think that the strengths, I think you can see them. If you look at the analytics of the pitcher, he doesn't walk many people. He attacks the strike zone. He's the guy that looks for soft contact so he can go deeper into games and that type of thing. I think some pitch sequencing and some pitch shapes, I think, was something that we're going to discuss with him. I think that he's going to want to pitch, a little more four-seam fastball up in the zone. He was reluctant to do that in the Japanese league a little bit. I think that'll be an asset for him. So when we get him in spring training, Hickey and Doolittle will do their thing with him. We'll assess where he's at, what he likes to do. We've got all the analytics and all the video and all the technology to see what he's done in the past, and then when we use when we get him into camp, we'll use our technology to film him mechanically and biomechanically and see how it matches up and if there's anything we could tweak to improve. I think that he's going to be open-minded with it. We were with him all day yesterday. Went out to dinner with him last night, and very open-minded about the analytical aspect of it, and excited to work with the old school of Hickey and the new school of Doolittle. I think is going to be something that he's going to enjoy and learn from.
I know this team values character and makeup. What have you been able to glean about his personality, who he is as a person off the field so far?
Well, he seems like an energy guy that's a good teammate to have. We've done our research with that. His agent is, I know him very well, and he knows the player very well, and has said what a wonderful kid he is, and by all of our investigations and fact finding, I think that he's going to be a good part of the ball team in the clubhouse and in the community. And I think that it's although it's difficult, when you don't speak the language, and when you're the only Japanese player in the clubhouse, not a field. So it's going to be our job to make him feel comfortable and make him feel at home. And a few of the players that we've talked to about it are going to buy into to making him feel a part of the club, a part of the family.
Bobby Blanco.
Hey, Mike. You said his age fits your timeline. What do you mean by that? And then what does that timeline look like to you?
He's 27 years old. He fits into, age-wise with, with the rest of the guys, with the exception of Trevor. Everyone's, 23 to 27, 28 years old. All 8, 9, 10 of our starting pitching guys. So I think that he fits in. And what I meant by that, he's not 35, 36 years old where he'd be the veteran part of the staff. I think he fits into what we're trying to accomplish here is to have a good young dynamic starting rotation.
So do you envision that being, I mean, not that was an important part of you signing him, but do you envision that as a bonus, that he does is kind of the same age as some of your younger top players?
Yeah, I mean that was part of the attractiveness to him is that he's not a finished product. He's got some things to learn, but he's at an age where he's got experience. 9 years of pitching in the Japanese league, and but he's at an age where we think that there's still some development that he could learn from and become a better pitcher than he even is now.
Mark Zuckerman?
You mentioned how there is an adjustment period, obviously, for anybody coming over from there. I'm wondering, like contractually and procedurally, how it works for you guys. Does he come in like with options? Could he be sent to the minors to work on things? Could he like stay in spring training, or is it sort of like he's going to be ready to be on the big league staff day one?
Well, our plan is that he's big league ready. We sign him to be a starting pitcher for us in the big leagues. Of course, he'll have to earn that spot in the rotation. I think there's going to be great competition for the 5 spots in the rotation by some good young talented players. Yeah, we can't if he's not ready for the big leagues, then we could always option him to AAA and bring him up sometime during the season. But we anticipate him battling out for a rotation spot, and I think it's going to be a fun competition to watch.
And just a question off that subject, broader about how things are going as you guys get closer here to spring training. You've obviously addressed spots in the lineup. You've addressed the starting rotation. You've made a couple of bullpen moves. Do you feel like there are still moves you need to make in that regard to put together what you think is going to be your opening day bullpen?
Well, we never stop working. We never stop trying to improve the ball club. I don't think that'll change now. I mean, if we see something that we think that could help us in the long term, in not just in the bullpen, but in any aspect of our team, that we'll certainly attack it and try and make ourselves better.
Last couple here, Spencer.
Yeah, in that same vein, I guess if you have 10 guys potentially competing for spots in the rotation, do you see it as a case of where a lot of those guys would start the year in AAA if they don't make the rotation? Are you leaving open the possibility that a few of those or even one of those guys could end up in the bullpen? What's I guess the calculation there?
Well, like I said, the having too many good starting pitchers is a good thing and not a bad thing. So there's going to be competition, and if the five best who can go north with us, we'll certainly do that, and we'll make decisions about the other guys, depending on how many there are, what their timeline is for the development. Obviously that we could always use some starting pitchers into bullpen, for periods of time in the spring, and still keep them stretched out to be starters. To me, starting pitching is a huge aspect of a winning team, and we want to keep as many starting pitching potential players as possible.
Then separately, in terms of handling, I guess the Asian and Japanese market, how has handling that market changed from when you were in Arizona, if in any way?
I don't think it has. I think relationships are key, and the teams with the best ground game and the best root system in these Asian countries certainly has the advantage of the others.
Last one, Andrew Gold.
I just wanted to ask about the offseason as a whole. I know you guys kind of stuck to a similar approach this offseason, signing guys to 1 or 2 year deals. Did you feel like that kind of made sense of where you guys were? Did you see opportunities to go bigger? And maybe why did you maybe stick with the approach that you guys did this offseason?
Well, we signed players this year that we feel that'll help us in the long term and could turn into something long in the short term that could turn into something in the long term. We certainly made a conscious effort, knowing where we're at right now. The qualifying offer, losing a high draft pick was something that we took into account. Losing international money, we took into account when we made decisions about assigning free agents. So all those things went into play. We felt that we identified players that we wanted to either sign as free agents or in the trade market. And I think that we've improved our club and at the same time we haven't blocked any prospects and we haven't. I think that we've improved our product on the field and with what we're always trying to do is have a good product in the clubhouse and in the community too. And I think we've accomplished that.
I know that last offseason I know you guys brought James and Dylan to big league camp. There was kind of a lot of hype around that. I guess how excited are you about the next tier prospects? You guys have like Dalen, Pinkney, some of those kind of guys from the mix. I guess how excited are you kind of get some new fresh faces and prospects into camp as well this year?
Well, they've earned the right to be there. They're the next tier. They're the next tier of guys that are going to be in the big leagues. And when you come to big league camp, when you play in the Arizona Fall League, these are all precursors to being big leaguers. And we could go out and get veteran guys to fill out spring training, but I think that it's important for these young players that are going to be big leaguers for us in the near future to get a taste of what it's like in the big leagues, to get a taste for their future teammates, and to see what it takes to play against major league talent every day in spring training.
All right, guys. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll see you in spring.